Tom Roach.
Here.
Chris Miles.
Here.
Joe Carroll.
Here.
Al Collins.
Here.
Christina Durkee. Amanda Durkee.
Here.
John Guglielmo.
Here.
James Donahue.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to open up the floor to community comments. The public comment period not to exceed 30 minutes each shall be provided at each business meeting in an effort to provide an opportunity for all interested speakers. All speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes during the public comment period. Community members who wish to address the board are requested to complete the speaker request form and submit it to the clerk of the board prior to the meeting. Comments regarding agenda items will be taken first. Speakers are reminded of the 3-minute limit. Should the 30-minute time limit expire, additional written comments may be taken prior to the meeting's adjournment. A member of the board or the superintendent will respond to that Board of Education received and review the comments. When members of the public speak to the board, they shall state their name and address, the name of the organization, if any, which they represent, and the agenda item they wish to comment on. Please be aware that by law, individual student information or particular personnel issues cannot be discussed at public sessions of the board. The board will not permit interruptions, slanderous remarks, name calling by speakers or the audience. We take public comment very seriously and capital notes will be taken. However, the board generally does not respond while the meeting is in public session. That being said, we have a request to speak first. Mr. Jack Timmons.
Thank you. I'm sure you've heard this before, but I had to say something. As an old timer, I do appreciate everybody on this board stepping up and trying to do the right thing for Port Edward. And I'm sure most of us do. We appreciate it. We know it's not easy. That being said, what annoys me is when I read things and I hear things in the paper that says the opportunities are over in South Glens Falls. After 35 years, I can tell you something. When kids come, the transient kids that have been in 3 different schools in 2 years, and I always say, hey, what do you think about the Fort? And they say, we really like it here. Is it the teachers? No. Is it the food? No. Just like it here. Before Glens Falls Transit started up, kids used to walk from the dog shack to Fort Edward every day. They walked from Park Street, the bowling alley, to Fort Edward. 2 years ago, a kid almost ran into my bus, and a junior high kid, because he was late for school on 8th and Alma Street. Kids like Fort Edward. When it comes to opportunities, especially in South Glens Falls, our top end, our 10, at that 90 percentile, 80 percentile, they're going to make it anyway. How about the lower 80%? How about those athletic kids? How about those academic kids? You have to think about those kids when you're making a decision in a few weeks. When I read in the paper that the people that put the study together said that, don't worry. This is a quote from the paper. I don't know if it's correct. Don't worry. If the kid doesn't make the volleyball team, then the kid can make the basketball team. And I said, you gotta be kidding. Look in the paper. It's the Shermans down in Schuylerville, and Gerards in Glens Falls. They play every school. That is a totally false statement. And they went on to say, well, no teacher. I'd be shocked if the teacher loses a job. No, not true. Nelson's here, but his first day of teaching to my last day of teaching, right across the hall, he's a fantastic teacher. He's a great math teacher, he's a great physics teacher. Now, does he have the patience to teach first grade? I don't know. Notice that he didn't go into pre-K. Now it's because I don't think he can do that. But he's not certified. So how does this person that did our study tell us, tell the people in Fort Edward that we're going to be okay, don't worry about it. This is what I'm worried about. I'm worried if people on our board didn't know great. That's not, well, shouldn't be our concern. Our concern should be all the kids.
Yes.
All the kids. I would ask you this, please. Think about everyone, when you make your decision, don't turn it over to the public. They read the paper, they think everything's going to be fine. No, it's not. It's not going to be fine for our kids. So please, look to your conscience when you vote, and I'd like to know why. If somebody's going to vote one way or the other, I would like a reason. Why? Is it money? I would like a reason from the people that vote next time. And with that, I thank you for, my time.
Thank you.
It is. Thank you very much. That kid that we were talking about with the dirt on his face, Oogie, his real name is Gary, okay? I just want to tell you that. And when Oogie ever gets lucky enough, okay, to introduce me to anybody, he's not going to say, that's my science teacher. He's going to say, that's my football coach.
The board recognizes Kathleen Hunt.
So before I start, everybody can already hear me, right? We're all set? Okay, cool. All right, cool, all right. Well, I'm Kathleen Hunt. I live on William Street with Stacy Brown and John Brown, also known as Brownie, who's worked here for I don't even know how long. I came in support for, obviously, our school. If you guys would join me to sing our alma mater, that would be great. The teachers here, they're absolutely fantastic. All the opportunities that I had here, amazing. And for people to want to throw that all away for their kids is ridiculous, to say the least. I'm sorry to say that. We're not even, it seems like nobody is considering the kids here. I had so many opportunities in a small school like Fort Edward, and putting our kids into a bigger school like South Glens Falls, they're not going to have the opportunities that they had here. They're not going to have the connections that they had with teachers that I did throughout my years here. So take that into consideration, that your kids are probably going to have it a lot harder in a bigger school district. They're not going to have the connections with the teachers that we have here at Fort Edward. They're just not going to probably have it that well in a bigger school. And I'm sorry to say that to anybody who disagrees with me, but face it, that's what it's gonna be, because they're gonna get tossed around in a bigger school, and I've heard a lot from a bigger school like that, and I'm scared for kids that are gonna be going there. So, just think about that, please, because I don't want the kids from younger generations under me to be thrown into something big and not know how to get out of it and not have the help they need like they would get it here. So,
Board recognizes Chris Boucher.
Do you mind if I sit?
Sure.
It's a little long. How about people like the Browns? You know, that's kind of what Fort Edward's about. And Jack Toomey, I don't know if you know, everybody on the board knows this, but Jack Toomey's father was a teacher here. All of his other siblings went to Hudson Falls School. They lived in the Hudson Falls School District. Jack went here, and then he came here to teach for 35 years. He didn't know his daughter's a teacher here. So how about a little Fort Edward pride there? Okay, anyway. I've given it to Toby, but I'm here to present a petition to the board from the adult residents of the Fort Edward School District. As you are aware, we presented an internet petition to the board on the July school board meeting. The petition consists of over 500 district residents, alumni, and supporters. After some discussion, the president of the board informed those present that the annexation project was started because 265 residents returned surveys which stated that they would like more information. Our petition was then brought up, and Mr. Roche's exact words were, "Bring us something from the village residents, and that will actually mean something." Well, I'm here to present a petition signed in person by only village residents, school district residents. Let me remind you that the annexation started when 265 surveys out of 1,400 sent out by the district said they'd like more information. Members of this board have also stated that they're in favor of information. Well, here's your information. 61 pages of information. 726 signatures. Worth of information. Drive around the streets of Fort Edward and acknowledge the signs. The signs that read, "We support Federal School." This is information. This information did not cost $25,000. It did not require SED. It did not require consultants. This information is the product of this community. Read the petition, acknowledge it, and drive through the streets of Fort Edward before you vote on October 6th. There's a voice, support, and power in these pages. Thank you.
Board recognizes Stuart Alma.
I'm going to agree with Mr. Toomey. I want to thank you guys for your service. I've been in your shoes, kind of, and it's not personal. If the mayor of Fort Edward came to this community, into this building right now, and said he wanted to merge Fort Edward Fire Department and the Police Department with South Twins Falls or Hudson Falls, this community would burn the building to the ground to stop it. Almost 20 years ago, when the Fort Edward Rescue Squad was rumored to be moving to Kingsbury because of a misquote in the Post-Star, 150 residents called the captain of the rescue squad wanting to skin him alive. I know, because I was the captain. Even the town supervisor at the time stated Fort Edward would contract outside of the area if the rescue squad moved. You, the board, you, Mr. Roche, the president of the board, you're the face of this right now. It's not personal. You are the ones that need to end it. So when the community is angry, it's not because of you, it's because of what you're presenting. Because we, the community, want it to stay, just like they wanted the rescue squad to stay. Just like we would never let the police department or the fire department leave this village. Additionally, like Mr. Toomey stated, following the last board meeting, I would like to address what I keep hearing in regards to opportunity. Seems to be one of the big pushes. These kids will have more opportunity. I graduated in 1986 with a graduating class of 42, larger than most now. I had the opportunity to know all of my classmates by name and remain in contact with many of them. I know all of them. I'm still close to many of them. We moved back here in 1997 after serving in the Navy with my wife and 3 children. I had the opportunity to know most of their teachers personally, their friends' parents, as I had known most of them from my own school days. I had the opportunity to join the Fort Edward Rescue Squad, which was started by 4 men in 1956 from Fort Edward, who mortgaged their own homes in order to fund its inception. They too were from Fort Edward. I had the opportunity to serve with members of the community for the community alongside the Fort Edward Fire Department and Fort Edward Police Department, who also had members that were the community members of Fort Edward, teachers whom I'd had in school, friends that I went to school with. Since I began my coaching career here at Fort Edward, I've had the opportunity to be part of 10 different groups of girls basketball teams, bringing a Section 2 title home to Fort Edward on a Fort Edward school bus, driven by a Fort Edward driver, Fast Eddie. Led through the streets of Fort Edward by the Fort Edward Rescue Squad, the Fort Edward Fire and Police Departments. 4 of those teams were also escorted when bringing home regional titles. I'm sure we're not the first teams to have this. I know there have been football titles and boys basketball titles, volleyball, bowling, thanks to Mr. Chase and the program he's doing there, baseball, which I believe you were a part of, Mr. Donahue, and many others. I don't believe the all-county choir or bands get the same welcome that the sports teams do, but I know many who have represented this school in those as well. If you vote to move forward with this annexation and it passes, I do know one thing. The opportunity for any future student or team to bring something home to Fort Edward goes away. The opportunity to feel the sense of pride from the community, to see Fort Edward come together to celebrate the accomplishment, to hear this town represented on a larger stage goes away. The sign on the front, I'm finishing up, sir, right now. The sign on the front lawn bears the hashtag, "We are Fort Edward." We are. The question is, are you?
The board recognizes Erica Adams.
Erica.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Erica Adams. I grew up as Erica Tilford. I live at 42 Seminary Street. I had the privilege of attending Fort Edward from kindergarten until I was going into my sophomore year. I spent my last 3 years of high school in a very large school. Having personally experienced both aspects of what it's like going to a school in both a large and a small setting, I made the choice to move home. When it was time for my oldest of 3 to start school, I wanted to raise my boys in the Fort Edward community. I wanted this to feel like home to them as much as it always has to me. For them to be able to experience the love of this village, for them to go to school here, for them to know what they are, that they are more than just a body at a desk. That when someone saw them, they wouldn't just recognize their face, but they would also know their name. That when they would have the opportunity not to just get lost in a crowd, that they mattered to their teachers and to their coaches, that they would have a huge support system, not only from family, friends, teachers, and coaches, but also from all of Fort Edward. I wanted them to feel the same way that I always have, with nothing but pride for being able to be part of Fort Edward. My oldest graduated with the class of 2019 as Fort Edward's valedictorian. He was also had the honor of being named the Joseph D'Angelico recipient. My middle son graduated this past year with a class of 2021 and also had the honor of being named the Joseph D'Angelico recipient. My youngest just started his senior year. This community helped me shape them into the amazing young men that they are. It really does take a village. In 2017, our family faced something terrible. The love and support that was given to us is something still to this day that I'll never be able to express my gratitude for. When my husband passed away unexpectedly, it was the middle of basketball season. John was an amazing stepfather, but also a father figure to many in the community. He had coached many of the players while they were in elementary school, and they were all growing up together with my boys. I don't know the details of how it happened, but a memorial ball was designed for all the basketball players, both girls and boys, as well as coaches to sign. At one of my boys' basketball games, they had my oldest son present it to me. It still sits on our fireplace in our living room. Not only was this amazing act of kindness made, the whole community also pulled together and did a benefit for myself and my children. I have no idea how they put it all together or how they were able to do it so quickly. It still brings tears to my eyes thinking of it to this day. There were people, of course, there that I knew, but there were also so many that I had never met. I know in my heart that it mattered to them because in this village, we are all a family. That's the way life is supposed to be. Looking out for your neighbors, caring because you share something as simple as you live in the same village. You will never find another community like ours. I'm proud to have grown up here and to have been able to come back to raise my children here. I can tell you firsthand what a difference changing to a bigger school can do. I stopped playing sports that I'd played my entire life. I never felt like I fit in and I was truly only a number. I was a body at a desk and nothing more. Yes, a few extra classes were offered, but that really was all. There weren't truly extra opportunities. That aside, I was robbed of so much more. I could tell you the name of every single teacher that I had all the way through my time at Fort Edward, and I can only recall 2 teachers' names from the other school I attended. A large school can ruin a child's self-esteem, as it did mine, and rob them of so much more than you'd think they'd gain. Please don't do this to our children.
Board recognizes Josh Plude.
How you doing? Josh Blue, 43 State Route 197, Fort Edward, New York. Born and bred here, bleed blue and white. I agree with everything everybody else has said here. My issue is how this misinformation of a merger study came about. It's complete misinformation. It's an annexation study and it's a cohort study. There's no follow-up research to these studies. It makes absolutely no sense to me. How can you say it's a study when you have no follow-up research? It makes it a cohort study and it's to annex a district and not merge districts. So my main issue is with the boundaries. According to the law, the district boundary lines have to be contiguous. That means they actually have to touch. I have overlaid the maps for Southland Falls School District and Fort Edwards. They don't touch anywhere. If someone is to tell me that they touch under the river, I call bogus on that. That's only for maritime law. A contiguous zone is for maritime law and it has to do with sea. If you get into rivers, lakes, and streams, they're called territorial zones. Territorial zones do not fall under contiguous zones. Therefore, the study should have never taken place. It upsets me that it takes place. Like we're all fools. We're pretty intelligent people. We want this district to stay. So that's my main concern about the boundary lines. I don't know how the study isn't taking place because the boundaries don't add up. My next note is about, it was brought to my attention the last board meeting, that there's a member of the board who stands to benefit from this if this annexation happens. Now, if you go into the New York State School Board Association, it's a complete conflict of interest. A conflict of interest is when a school board member is in a position to benefit financially from a decision that members may make on behalf of the district. this board member works for the district that's going to annex our district. He potentially is going to gain financially. So I'm not asking this board member to resign, but they should recuse his vote. It should not count. He should not be allowed to vote on this. My other issue is with a school that is starving for money, I want to know how it came about that we were going to sell an annex building for less than fair market value for $1 when the community has to come together. And there was a handful or possibly 2 handfuls of people, I was not one of them, came together last year to raise funds for our children to have extracurricular activities. And someone decided they were going to sell this building for $1. They were going to give it away. That hurts me. That hurts everybody here. It's preposterous. I can't believe this is what goes on behind closed doors. It sickens me. Lastly, my last point is if you're worried about your neighbor's bottom line or your bottom dollar or taxes and this and that, that's all misinformation as well. I don't have enough time to get into that. Has anybody considered that when this district gets annexed, former teachers and faculty, it's not a guarantee that they will keep their health benefits? People that gave their lives to this community may lose it all, and they need this at this time in their life. It's no guarantee. That should be publicized in the papers. That should be made public so it could sway the vote in the way we want it to go. I think it's ridiculous it hasn't been brought to light. So that's pretty much all I have to say is the things that are going on behind closed doors don't seem to add up in my opinion. I'm disgusted by it. I'm trying to represent myself here with some dignity and honesty and a little bit of, I don't know what, but I'm just floored by the way things went down with this whole study. It makes no sense to me. So anyways, my vote is to keep Fort Edward, and I hope all you just tend to think about things. So, thank you.
Board recognizes Vicky. Victoria Flute.
Good evening. I truly don't know where to begin. I have lived in this community all but 6 months of my 63 years. I still reside in my family homestead the same amount of years, and I am a true I love Fort Edward resident. I am numb and I shake my head in disbelief, knowing the very sad place we are at now. A community so divided. And what were once friends, acquaintances, neighbors, we now harbor anger and hostility. I point to you, those of you who began this nightmare with what was supposed to be a merger study. And here we are on the cusp of an annexation, possibly. The person that spoke at last month's meeting regarding 2 schools up north that merged, not annexed, stated it has been a transition, to say the least. Both schools became one with a new district name, school colors, governance, transportation, and so forth. Yet, neither one of those lost their schools. They became one. You are choosing to lose Fort Edward, lose these students. Some of you graduated from here. Some of you had children graduate from here. Some of you have a child going to South Glens Falls. I respect your decision. However, the majority of families in this district want this small town school just the way it is. They don't have the means or the opportunity to place them in another small town school. What you are doing is just wrong. Don't give me the song and dance of bigger school, better education, as I will stand here and give you the names of those many students who have graduated from Little Fort Edward and have careers that make you proud. They worked hard. They had teachers and a community that stood with them, not against them. Opportunities in South Glens Falls. Let's talk about just one of this at this time. First, I want to say how very proud I am of 4 high school students who chose to go out and play for the South Glens Falls football teams. 2 of them are seniors and 2 are sophomores. Our oldest grandson plays varsity. Only 18 students total from South Glens Falls went out for this sport. And my other grandson plays JV. Each of the 4 students thrive on competitiveness, camaraderie, and a sport they truly care about. I bet if you ask the school superintendent right now what the names of these boys are, he could not tell you. Think about it, 4 kids' names. Thank you, Mr. John Godfrey, for taking the time out of your schedule to go and show these kids they matter. For those on the school board that have not approached or reached out to these kids and asked, how's it going, guys? 4 young men from Fort Edward and South Glens Falls cannot even acknowledge them playing with them. It would take a mere few seconds when they're making pre-game announcements, and I've gone to each home game, to say, you know, we have Fort Edward kids playing with us. I'm not asking them to say, okay, stand up, take a bow, say their names. Acknowledge them. They can't be acknowledged. What do you think the rest of these kids are going to be? They're going to be lost. Busing is a total disaster right now, and I'm not just talking about 4 players to and from South Glens Falls practices. Our oldest granddaughter's first day attending class at ACC last Wednesday, and no one has any idea that she needs a ride there and back. Thankfully, she had a parent that was able to drive her and pick her up. Lack of communication is truly as bad as ever. They tell the parent to pick her back up, then they send someone to get her. They call the parent saying, we can't find your child. The child's home. Okay, seriously? We still have to get through this school year, and something better change, and it better change soon, and it can be up to you. Look into your soul, look into your conscience. You're the ones who are leaving morale so negative in what should be a year to be thankful. We're all alive and standing here in a year of COVID. There are a few on this board that can give these students true hope of having what others from Fort Edward School have had before them. The opportunity to keep the school district here in Fort Edward community. I know I'm over. Taxes are being paid. I understand that it's not easy for others, as it wasn't easy for our parents as well. But they knew that the kids' education was the most important. They gave up luxurious vacations. They gave up summer homes in the South, concerts and theater productions. They were unselfish, and I beg of you, look into your souls for these kids. Put this community back together. You can do this.
Board recognizes Sherry Demir.
Sherry Junior, 13 Seminary Street. I've worked at Fort Edward for 20 years, and for anybody that knows me, knows this is really, really hard for me to be in public. I know I wanted to speak because I believe in the school and what it means to our community. Deciding what to say was the hard part, so I decided on a little bashing and a little loving. First, I thought when you appoint someone to the board, they were here for the kids and the kids only. Seems to me some of you are all about taxes and so-called opportunities our kids don't get here. Well, we've had some great students come from Fort Edward, like pharmacists, doctors, lawyers, teachers, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, business owners, even $1 million business owners, police officers, state troopers, electricians, construction workers, accountants, editor of Marvel Comics, and much, much, much more. So if someone states their kids didn't have opportunities in Fort Edward, maybe it was the student not trying and not missed opportunities. Second, my favorite time of the day is when school opens and the kids come in. I am able to say good morning to them all by first name. We are a poor community, which sadly leads to struggle at home for some kids. We let no one past us in the morning if they are feeling down. It could be as simple as giving them a hug, combing their hair, tell them they are beautiful or handsome, fixing their clothes, fixing their backpack or getting them a new one, even trying to fix their dollar store birthday present that they were so proud of. Many of us have gone to the store during lunchtime to get them what they needed to help them make it through the day. I can't even tell you how many nights I have cried myself to sleep, worried about these kids. What is going to happen to the little ones who get themselves ready in the morning? If they miss the bus, they won't make it to school. They really need the one-on-one in the morning so their whole day isn't ruined. I'm sure they won't get that kind of attention in South Bend Falls. There are just too many kids there. I challenge all of you board members to stand with us for one morning and see these precious kids. Please, please do not take their school away from them.
Board recognizes Taylor Boucher.
Hello, I've spoken here pretty much every meeting for the last couple months, so everybody knows how I stand on the topic. So today I'm just going to speak on one topic. Chris Miles on the Board of Education needs to abstain from the vote on October 6th. There is a direct conflict of interest because your employer stands to gain financially. It's in about every case that you can read. It's in about every statute that you can read and about every rules that you can read as far as Board of Education members that you should not vote on anything in which you could potentially financially benefit. And I think your employer financially benefit exposes you to a lot. Direct conflict of interest, and I would not be surprised if there was legal action if you were to vote. So please, please think about it. Thank you.
Board recognizes Elaine Trackenstock.
Hi, I'm Elaine Tracky-Southman, otherwise known as that woman, as I was in the paper and I wasn't even here. As far as you go, Chris, there are other people on this board that would run into the same thing. If this merger were to go through, Fort Edward in some way would also benefit. Teachers in Fort Edward would benefit. There are people on our board that have family members that are teachers in Fort Edward, so they would have to abstain from voting also. So I think you're good to go. I would like to say, yeah, any of the Durkees would have to not vote.
Elaine, just please.
But I would just say, Chris, I think you're good. I would like to see the board allow the people to vote.
We did vote no against you.
Hey.
Please restrain from that, Megan, please.
You
can't be disrespectful to us and not expect it back.
And what I'm saying is, let the people vote. If the people
We
don't
did
want the
vote.
merger,
Megan,
then
please.
that's fine. All I want now is for the people to vote. You guys are doing a great job. It is a thankless job. You're doing a great job. And so I say, keep with it and let the people decide. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. As far as dividing the village, the people who want the merger are being very quiet.
Where are
because
they?
They're being.
Where are they? We're here. Where are they?
The people who want the annexation are being very quiet because of the hate that's coming from the other side.
In school, you don't hear that.
Oh, I'm ready.
And they're still taking.
You know what? Let's stop that here. Let's see how you think.
Still taking them there. Oh, they're getting nothing.
Yeah, right time. Folks, we've reached the 30-minute mark.
Pay about $300 in tax a year.
Anyone has a comment, speaker form, we will reply to you via email.
I've seen them. I look them up. I got them. It's about 13 months.
So we're not going to be able to speak this evening. I brought my children here so that we since I was respectful and didn't use her name. What are we doing? This is unfair. This isn't right. You guys are standing here saying like you stand against this. What is it? What is it that was so bad for your child in Fort Edward?
Megan, please, this is not for the
This is
public to do.
ridiculous.
Please, thank you.
This is ridiculous. Your child, from what I understand, is a lawyer and a...
I'm going to have to recess, Megan, please.
What? They didn't get a Spanish class? That's your fault.
Megan, please. I'm going to call for a recess, folks, and I really don't want to waste everybody's time.
This is ridiculous. We don't even get a chance to speak, and it's our vote, our voice.
All right, moving on. We have a presentation,
Go.
the 5-year fiscal plan by Charlene Petro.
No, that was me. I said.
This is a pretty important.
Let's let the meeting go on. Let's let the meeting go on.
All right, whenever you're ready, Charlene. Yes.
One second, can we fix the sound for a second?
Just one second, Charlie. I'm trying to fix the audio.
That time.
Let's see.
Let's try to fix the leg.
See if you can speak.
Excuse me?
Just give it a sec. We're trying to see if the public
Still going through it
can
now. Yeah.
online.
Second. Switch over to speakers.
Slide 9, next slide.
Next one.
Next slide. Restoring services. Oh, no, back one. Is there a bad echo?
Back up more?
No, there's a back echo.
Oh, echo, there's echo. One second. All right, try again.
Good now. you, Charlene. Next up, we have Ms. Mako, want to report the summer school academy.
Sorry, everybody. So I'm here tonight just to kind of wrap up a little bit about our Summer Enrichment Academy program. Some of you may or may not be aware of the program that we offer to our students this summer in July, but I'm here to kind of wrap that up. I was here earlier in the summer to kind of talk about what our proposal was for that, and with very little lead time and a lot of manpower, we pulled together a great program for our students, K through 6. So just kind of quickly going back through what our mission was, it was to kind of create an opportunity for students K through 6 here at Fort Edward for some enrichment experiences, to deal with some of the social emotional needs, and certainly to review grade level concepts so that we could kind of address some of the learning loss that may have occurred over that COVID time period. So our mission was to kind of keeping our students sharp, students having access to academic resources and programming to persevere over the summer. And I am proud to report that the entire group did a great job, parents, students, administration here, on making all of that happen for our students. So bravo to the entire Summer Enrichment Academy team, students, parents, and school community for, again, pulling this program together at the very last minute and making it a real meaningful opportunity for our students. So here's some quick facts and figures. On a daily basis, we had 51 students here on an average from K through 6. We worked from Monday through Thursday, did morning sessions so that we could kind of stay out of the way of our fantastic summer rec program here at Fort Edward. Each class, we wanted to keep class sizes a little bit smaller so that we could really help some students who needed that extra push throughout the summer and cut down on some of that summer learning loss, and also to enrich students doing a variety of STEM activities and things like that. So we had about 8 students on the average in the classroom, grades pre-K or K through 6. So some of our themes that we did over the summer for social emotional learning, our counseling team came up with these. They did a great job. We talked about courage, gratitude, forgiveness, compassion. We talked about the growth mindset, kindness, and how that matters, and teamwork. So these are some pictures of our program and some of our all-star students throughout the program. Again, the program was developed to kind of account for some of those students at risk for summer slide, also to welcome back some of our students who spent much of last year on a remote model and kind of get them acclimated to coming back to school. A couple more facts and figures. After the program was over, one of the things that I wanted to do setting up the program was to kind of survey parents, teachers, and students and see what they thought of the program. So we did a little bit of a survey with them. We also took a look at some baseline testing to see when they came in, did they maintain the learning that they had gained over the year. So 96% maintained learning levels in math or showed growth from start to finish in 4 weeks, which is pretty good, very good. 98% maintained learning levels in reading and or showed growth in a 4-week period. So to me, that really shows success. But aside from test scores and things like that, some of the testimonials from our students far exceeded all of that. So take a look at some of the things that our classrooms did. In kindergarten, Ms. Smith did a great job with those kindergarten kiddos. She connected them with some 4th grade reading buddies, so this made for a great learning opportunity for both the 4th grade and those kindergarten kids. They did a lot of hands-on STEM activities, and again, had a great time learning throughout that 4-week period. In 1st grade, We had a team teach approach, Miss Brown and Mrs. Peck. Again, had a great group of first graders. They did a lot of STEM activities, hands-on experiments, review of reading and math lessons throughout the 4 weeks. You can take a look at some of those happy faces. Second grade, we had Mrs. Tyler come in and work with those students. There were several students who had not been in the regular classroom all year. She did a great job getting them back to the classroom experience, getting them comfortable, getting them on the Chromebooks and things like that. Third grade, Mrs. Bruce and myself team taught the third grade group, which was a very large group of eager third graders. Again, doing themes like reader's theater, hands-on science, and things like that. Mrs. Brewer led up the fourth grade group where they did a literature study on a book and then made that connection with our first grade learners. And then our fifth grade group, which was taught by Mrs. Bump, and she did a great job with her group, again, doing the literature model, a lot of STEM experiments, and they even took it a step further, doing a kindness project, which I'll talk about at the very end of this presentation. Sixth grade, they had a great time with Mrs. Stark, did some literature studies, some math review, and lots of hands-on experiments. They were like the cool kids in the building during the program. Always enjoyed coming over for our special mystery readers. So survey says, what did the parents say, what did the students say, and what did our staff say about our program? We asked, what did you think of communication? Parents all thought that communicating on Dojo, like we set it up, was a great way to stay informed as to what was going on in our program and being able to showcase all of the great things that kids were doing. 100% felt that it was a positive experience for their child, which I think is great feedback for us. 85% said that if transportation were offered, they would take advantage of that service. So just some information to have when we go to build a program like this for next year. And I took a couple testimonials and quotes from some of those surveys and wanted to share. You can kind of see a few things that we asked parents, what did your child enjoy the most about Summer Enrichment Academy? And we had a lot of really good feedback. I'm happy to say everything on the parent feedbacks came back very positive. The only suggestions we had, there were a couple parents who thought maybe a longer program would be better. If a program were be available during the school year, an enrichment program, would your child or would you take advantage of it? And we have, most people saying yes or maybe. So that's good to know. Looking at the future, bringing back our after-school enrichment programs seems to show us that we would have some good interest there. We wanted to know about the length of day because, we were kind of trying to work with the summer rec program. Did the length of day work for families and students? And overall, I think we kind of hit the mark with what we wanted to, how long we wanted the kids in here so that we weren't taking away from their whole summer, giving them the freedom to continue with that summer rec program. Okay. So students, this was one of my favorite quotes. My favorite part of Summer Academy is seeing my friends and teachers. I also like the fun arts and crafts. I like going outside for part of our day. I like the reader every week. I love it all of it. It was all fun. I wish they made more days to be in here. I loved all the books we read and math was so much fun. So a lot of good feedback from our student surveys as well. One other thing we tried to do was because we are a small community, this really kind of hit home with a lot of the kids. It was so much fun. It was something to look forward to at the end of our work week. On Thursdays, we always had a mystery reader come, and it was connected to the community or connected to the school. So I want to say thank you to the Fort Edward Police Department. Sergeant Watkins and K-9 Rookie came to talk to us the first week. We also had our very own Miss Toomey come for week 2 for our Icky Sticky Ooey Gooey STEM week, and she did a great job on some hands-on experiments and talking to us about chemical change and things like that. Week 3, we had a visit by Fort Edward royalty, Miss Wendell and Emmy, our emotional support dog here at school. She came and read to the kids and did a great job. And then we ended with week 4, Mrs. Maury, the beekeeper, telling us all about one of her hobbies that she's very passionate about. And when you make those connections with kids, they respond very well, whether they're the kindergartners or the 6th grade. They all absolutely loved those mystery readers that we had each week. So wrapping it up, 100% of staff and teachers felt that the number of weeks met the needs of our students. We had 16 students that were awarded perfect attendance in the program, which is pretty cool for a summer program. A couple had to miss a day or 2 because we were really close to that 4th of July holiday, out of their control, but we had very good attendance in summer school, or summer academy. And on the average, that added about 480 reading minutes to the lives of those kids that were here in that program throughout the summer that they would not have had otherwise. So we had some good feedback. What should we change for next year? We asked that question, and there were mostly people said they really liked the way the program went this year, possibly changing some of the time frames. The feedback here was very positive. And the last was, did you know? Our 5th grade enrichment class baked homemade cookies and delivered them around our communities to several different special people in our community to kind of go along with the literature study that they did this summer. They made some great impacts on some of those community members, and also some of the takeaways from the students in that class were priceless. So overall, it was a great program. I just want to say thank you to the entire team. It was an entire team effort, so if you were part of the Summer Enrichment Academy, could you please stand up, please, for just a minute so we can acknowledge you. Thank you very much. I also want to say a thank you to Mrs. Joy Glass, who is here every morning, making us those grab-and-go breakfast and lunches. Mrs. Carpenter, Mindy, Toby, Michelle Sherwood, the custodial staff, our IT department, Alex, thank you. Mrs. Bump and our 5th grade kindness ambassadors, Vicki Pood from the Fort Edward Free Library, thank you very much. Mr. Donahue and the Fort Edward Rec Department, thank you for working with us, because we acknowledge how that is an important part of the summer for these kids at Fort Edward. So that's all that I have. Also, our mystery readers, thank you very much. That's it.
Jess, can I add one thing?
Yes.
This is how I know it was effective and it was good. I picked the kids up on a bus to go on a field trip on Wednesday after they'd been in school all morning. And every field trip I had them on, no matter where we went, not one complaint about school, not one bad word about the whole program. So thanks, Jess. They all like it.
All right, moving on the agenda, board committees. We did have a finance meeting this evening prior to the board meeting, which we often do. Information is in the packets. Next up is the superintendent report.
Good evening. I also know that the adults in the building were very excited on mystery reading Thursday, because we always look forward to see who it was too. So the first week of school was a success, and I thank John Godfrey, all the teachers, the staff. It was a true team. I mean, there were a lot of little kinks, and the beautiful part was there were so many problem solvers, not problem makers, and the kids were all greeted in a genuinely warm manner. We took care of kids. It was great, all the way from the time they entered the building, to breakfast, to waiting in the gym. and then being greeted by their new teachers for the year. It was a great experience to observe, and it was a great experience for the kids. And they were sweet. They did a beautiful job. COVID update. As many of you are aware, the state now requires all individuals working in pre-K through 12 public education to be screening weekly for COVID. If a person's vaccinated, though, they don't need to screen if they don't want to screen. But they do need to provide the district with a CDC card. I'm trying to establish a courtesy screening for our faculty and staff once a week so that they can get the screening done here instead of having to go elsewhere. If they choose not to use that screening, there's a DOH requirement, and therefore it's a term and condition of employment. But most people have already signed up, and we're working with Adirondack Health to get that program up and running. First day will be the week of the 20th. Going on, we had our first positive case today of a student having COVID. We had to do the contact tracing protocols as we shared last month at the board meeting. And again, like we thought, the cafeteria was going to be our weak link. And at that point, we had 5 students who were identified to have been, during the 2 days that student was here, within 6 feet of the student while unmasked for 15 minutes. Since they were not vaccinated, those students would have to be quarantined for 10 days. And we also have to let the other students in the class know that a low transmission occurrence occurred within their student's classroom. And that message will be going out tomorrow as it's something we were working on later into the day. Merger study. It's tentatively scheduled that there'll be a joint informational meeting on September 22nd. There'll be a joint newsletter to provide more information. Should be going to all of the residences in the district. On this will be a QR code, and there will be a web location where questions can be asked that should be addressed at the meeting, which this meeting will be recorded and broadcast. Right now, there's debate on how we're going to do the meeting because of COVID. We were also looking for like a moderator, someone from the news media to do the moderation. So there's still a lot of moving parts. But the key part is there is the QR code to ask questions. You'll see it in the newsletter you get. There'll also be a web site that you can send questions to. Those questions will be printed and answered hopefully during that session. There was also something that came up before tonight and came up again tonight. There's been discussion on board members being allowed to vote on various resolutions. As this has been an issue for some time, it goes all the way back to June where Jan Ward asked the school attorney if any of the Fort Edward board members would need to recuse themselves for the October vote. Based on the employment or a familiar relationship, the attorney's response was, I see no basis for conflict for either of these board members based on their employment or their familiar relationship, for a conflict for either of them based on, or the board members, let me read it verbatim. I see no basis for a conflict for either of these board members based on their employment with South Glens Falls or the employment of a board member's spouse by Fort Edward. They can feel free to vote on concerning the merger. So that's from our school attorney. The other misnomer I'm going to go over too, and this one I would love for people to ask on the QR code, was that should there be any type of merger in any school district? Or an annexation, any retiree has contract rights to their retirement benefits. And that is a law in New York State. So whatever the new district is, the annex district, whatever, those contracts of when the person retired still needs to be honored, just as we do today for all of our retirees going way back. Regardless of whether there's a new contract or anything, it's the same as under the conditions of the contract when they retire. And that's the state law. So I just want to get that out there. Again, I would love to see that asked again during the meeting. But those are just 2 things I wanted to make sure were covered tonight to end any misnomers. So that's all I got.
At every broker, your lawyer call
We got our treasury report, all the documents are in the board packet. Next up is Mr. Godfrey.
Thank you. We had a good start to the school year. Please. Sure, I can run.
Okay, you can use that one, John, sorry.
Okay, great, thank you. Great, thanks, John. Yeah, we've had a great start to the school year here. It's great to have all the students back. The hallways are busy, the auditorium will be busy, the gymnasium, we're trying to keep them down the cafeteria, get back to where we were before. So the teachers and staff, very excited. The classrooms are full. We got our students back for 5 full days of instruction a week, and that's exactly what they need and where they need to be so we can support them. So the noise and the busyness is wonderful here. We also have our fall sports is in full swing. We have students playing football, volleyball, and golf, so we support them and hope they do well. And so we're back and we're just ready for a great year. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Building grounds report was in the board packet as well. Pretty type of short letter of that. Okay. Next up, consent agenda.
Can you use the microphone? We can't hear you.
Sorry. Next up is the consent agenda. I need a motion for the approval of minutes for the August 16th regular meeting. Need a motion.
I'll make it.
John? Chris? Any discussion? All in favor? Need a motion for the approval of warrants and claims for September 2021. Joe and Ella? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. So moved. Need approval of the treasurer's report for July 2021. Amanda? John? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Good. Good. And approval of budget transfers. The motion. Chris? Amanda? Any discussion? All in favor? On to action items. Need a motion to approve the district-wide safety plans developed by the district-wide school safety team. Need a motion. Chris? Joe? Any discussion? All in favor? All right. Motion to approve the increase in salary for teacher aides from $13.10 to $13.20. Need a motion. John? Chris? Any discussion? All in favor? On to personnel. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Sarah Cronky as health education teacher effective August 31st, 2021. James and Amanda, any discussion? Thank you for your service. All in favor? Accept the resignation of Samantha Carroll as teacher assistant effective August 25th, 2021. Chris? John? Any discussion? Thank you, Samantha, for your service. All in favor? Aye. And we have one abstaining. Accept the resignation of Jessica Shields as teacher aide effective September 1, 2021. You got it? James and Joe, any discussion? Thank you, Ms. Shields, as well. All in favor? Need a motion to approve the appointment of Shona Brown as mentor at a rate of pay per contractual rate effective September 1st, 2021. Ella? Chris? Any discussion? All in favor? All good? John's good. Motion to approve the appointment of Ashley Godfrey as teacher assistant at a rate of pay per contractual rate effective September 1st, 2021. Chris and John, any discussion? All in favor? All good down there for us? You good? Motion to approve the appointment of Madeline Godfrey as teacher assistant at a rate of pay per contractual rate effective September 1st, 2021. James, John, any discussion? All in favor? Very good. Motion to approve the appointment of Peter Prindle as mentor at a rate of pay per contractual rate. Amanda? Joe? Any discussion? All in favor? Motion to approve the appointment of Peyton Paquette as teacher aide at a rate of pay per contractual rate effective September 1st, 2021. Chris? Joe? Any discussion? All in favor? You guys good? Yeah. Good. Motion to approve the appointment of Alexa Grimes as teacher assistant at a rate of pay per contractual rate effective September 1st, 2021. John? Joe? Any discussion? All in favor? Motion to approve the appointment of Christina Delk as teacher aide pending completion and verification of all required credentials and at a rate of pay of $13.20 per hour. Need a motion? Chris? Joe? Any discussion? All in favor? Good. Motion to approve the appointment of Blythe Kelleher as non-certified long-term substitute teacher pending completion and verification of all required credentials. Need a motion? Amanda?
Can I ask what area of certification? She'll be a transitional teacher with a certification area in science and biology.
I have one motion on the table. I need a second. Joe? Any further discussion? Good? All in favor? All right. Welcome aboard, everyone. Thank you for those who are stepping up for positions. Thank you. Coaching appointments are made pending completion and verification of all required coaching credentials with the stipend per FETA contract commensurate with experience and no other salary or benefits. All coaching and extracurricular appointments are subject to reduction pending final student enrollment numbers and pending the outcome of any potential mergers and emergency school closings. Motion to appoint Michelle Taylor as volunteer to assist with the volleyball program. Need a motion? James and Chris, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you, Ms. Taylor. I need a motion to enter into executive session to discuss matters referring to the employment of specific individuals. Need a motion? Joe, John? Board of Education members and other individuals invited to executive session are reminded that all matters discussed during executive session must be kept in the strictest confidence. All in favor? Aye. We are in exec. We do not expect to do any business when we come back, folks. Please feel free to stay, and we'll be back.
yeah. And one lady was like, that's one lady up there.
That was the fourth grade kid for my teacher.
Oh, really?
She's very good. They were nice and cheap.
A little nice in the country out there. That's what we're on. They went late. I need a motion to adjourn. Joe and Ella, any discussion? All in favor? Aye, thank you folks for your hard work. Good evening.
You know, the one, you have to do both. You know what I'd like to see is